Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we'll take a peek behind the curtain and see what is really going on in the world of business and maybe find a surprise or two. CSLM Acquisition Corp is extending its deadline to find a business to buy, and it looks like they're paying a bit of pocket change to make that happen. Let's dive into what this means before we get too deep. If you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed. And hey, we have a great community over on Discord you can join using the link in the description. It is a fantastic place to discuss these filings and get even more insights. Alright, so we're looking at a filing from CSLM Acquisition Corp, a company that is essentially in the business of finding another company to buy and merge with. Think of them as a matchmaker for businesses, but with a ticking clock. Their original plan was to find a partner by a certain date, but that date is coming up and they haven't found the perfect match yet. This report tells us about an amendment to their trust agreement. Basically, they were able to get shareholders to agree to give them more time to make a deal. The earliest event reported here happened on the 14th of October 2025, which is when the shareholders voted on this extension. This is a pretty common move for these types of companies, SPACs, as they are often called, when they need a little extra runway to get a deal done. Now let's talk about what makes up this company. They've got these units which are like a bundle. Each unit is made up of one Class A ordinary share, which is like a regular piece of the company, one right which gives you the ability to acquire something in the future, and half of a redeemable warrant. A warrant is like an option to buy a company's stock at a set price later on. So these units are quite complex. The shareholders had to vote on a couple of key proposals to make this extension happen. The first was the extension amendment proposal. This is where shareholders approved changing the company S Articles of Association. This essentially gives the company more time to complete its business combination. They re-extending the deadline to the 18th of December 2025. And the voting numbers here are pretty telling. Out of the shares that could be voted, almost all of them were in favour of extending the deadline. Only 10 shares were against it. This shows strong support from the shareholders to give the company more time, which is crucial because if they don't find a deal, the money in their trust account might have to be returned to investors. Then there was the trust amendment proposal. This is directly related to the agreement with the trustee, which holds the money for the company to make a future acquisition. This proposal also passed with overwhelming support, mirroring the first proposal's results. It is all about extending that deadline for the company to find a merger target. Here is where it gets interesting financially. To get this extension, the company had to put more money into their trust account. For each extension, they are allowed to deposit the lesser of $0.02 per S-share that wasn't redeemed, or a flat $15,000. In this instance, they put in $15,000 to extend their deadline. Now, they have until the 18th of December 2025 to complete a business combination. They have to keep making these $15,000 deposits for each monthly extension, which means the cost of extending the deadline adds up. So what does all this mean? Well, the shareholders are clearly backing the management efforts to find a good deal. They were willing to give them more time and, in effect, more flexibility. However, these extensions come at a cost. Not just the $15,000 deposits, but also the potential for investor patience to wear thin if a deal continues to be elusive. Looking at this situation, the company is in a holding pattern. They are not actively doing business in the traditional sense. Their business is finding a merger target. The extension signals they are still actively searching. A key risk here is that by extending, they might end up merging with a less than ideal company just to meet the deadline. Or the extensions could eat up too much cash, reducing the capital available for the actual business combination. An opportunity would be if they find a really strong company to merge with, one that can drive significant value for shareholders. In conclusion, CSLM Acquisition Corp has successfully bought more time to find a merger partner. The shareholder support is strong, but the repeated deposits to extend the deadline are a clear indicator that the clock is still ticking and they need to make a move soon. We will definitely keep an eye on this SPAC to see what kind of company they eventually decide to merge with. Alright, that is our breakdown of CSLM Acquisition Corp. latest filing. What is your take on these extensions and what they signal for the company? Future, drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.